All right, so we are back. Bernie has just picked up his guitar. I'm a little afraid. You're not going to
I'll
write a
tell you a
song
funny.
about me, are you? I'm afraid.
No, I was going to tell you, I was in the dentist office one day, and back in the day, there were two Bernies in Nashville. Me and Bernie Ledden from the Eagles.
Yep.
And I went in to have a cleaning, and the girl opened the door and she said, "Bernie, are you ready?" And I said, "Yeah." And it was a dental assistant I didn't know, and she took me back and she started numbing my teeth. And I said, "What are we doing?" She said, "He's going to come in and give you a shot to numb your teeth and stuff." I said, "I think there's something wrong here. I'm just supposed to get in a cleaning." And she said, "Well, I got you in for a filling." And I said,
No.
"No."
Uh-uh.
And so she called up. She said, "Well, you're Bernie Ledden, right?" And I said, "No." And so I walked out in the lobby, and there was Bernie. And I said, "Dude, you almost cost me a tooth for crying out loud."
What are the chances of both of y'all being
Yeah.
there? So how quick were you like, oh, I wish I was Bernie Ledden until you're taking
Yeah.
my tooth, right?
Ledden was actually in Run W, going back to Russell Smith. Have you ever listened to them?
Who was it now? The CW?
Run
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
CNW was Vince Malamet and Bernie Ledden, and there goes my brain. The guy that wrote "Fishing in the Dark."
Jim
There goes my
Fotoglo, right?
brain. So Photoglow, and they did Motown songs, bluegrass style.
Okay.
It's a classic album. You have to pull up Run CNW. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, I'm looking at them
Amazing
right now.
stuff.
I'm definitely gonna have to check them out after we're done for sure.
Oh, amazing,
Awesome. So I got a
amazing.
couple
And
more questions if you got a little more time.
go right ahead.
Oh, perfect. So you did talk about advice for songwriters earlier. I definitely wanted to talk about that a little bit. Obviously, a very accomplished songwriter. You've been an indie songwriter in Texas with a lot of success. A professional songwriter in Nashville, published as well. So a lot of perspective in this. So what would be your best advice for a young songwriter if they came up to you and said, "There's, if I could take one morsel from Bernie Nelson, what would it be?"
It goes back to what Russell told me, that upstairs in that little back bedroom is where I did my homework and I learned to play guitar. That's just conversation. It's not a lyric. It's just a conversation. And you look at the greatest songs out there, Broken Halo and Eric Church's Springsteen. They're just conversations. Girl Going Nowhere. I mean, the house that built me. They're not. It's not poetry. So if you're trying to write poetry, you're wasting your time. But if you just say, when we were poor, we were poor when I was young, and but I don't remember ever going hungry. That's just conversation. And uh, in a song of mine, Shamlin and I wrote for Winona, "It's Never Easy to Say Goodbye." Jimmy climbed on board that big yellow bus. He sure looked big in his little eyes. That's just conversation. And Alan Shamlin wrote, he wore a starched white shirt, buttoned at the neck, his teeth were all gone, but what the heck, I thought he walked on water. If you try to write poetry, you're going to miss the art of writing songs. So it's just conversation. And a lot of times conversation will lead to a great idea for a song too.
So over, 50 years in the business. And I think we all as humans have what I call "I can't believe I'm here" moments. So what were some of those
Yeah.
for you? Like, just, man, I can't believe what's happening to me right now.
The night that Randy Travis and Christopherson recorded my song, that was a big deal. I wrote a song with Jimmy Fadden from the Dirt Band, and Jeff and Jimmy explained to me the band was breaking up and they were going to cut a record, but it was their last record. And so Jimmy Fadden and I wrote a song called "The Dream," about a cowboy that gets to live his dream even though he's way past his prime. He still gets to cowboy, and a baseball player who's down in the minors, but he's way past his prime, but he still gets to play baseball every day. And about a band playing music way past their blue jean days, and they should probably grow up and get a job, but they love playing music. So they were in Alberta doing a show, and Jimmy Ibbotson suggested they close the show with that and did it acoustically. So they started closing their shows with it.
Wow.
And they announced on National Now one night that song decided to make them stay together. So that was a big deal for me.
Wow.
Um, you know, I just recently got a Willie Nelson cut. That was a watershed mark for me. I still have some bucket list stuff out there, George Strait. Um, I have a bucket list of cut to get a Willie Nelson and Keith Richards cut, and I'm actually working on it. I'm getting closer every day. So I have the song. We just got to get it finished, and I wrote it with Willie's producers, so hopefully we can get it done in time. So
Oh, that would be amazing. I hear this from songwriters all the time, where they'll hear a song, whether it's a demo or a work tape or maybe something that's polished and produced and it's out there, and they hear the song and they say, "I wish I would have wrote that one." Is there a song out there that you've in the past where you were like, "Man, I should have wrote that song. What is wrong with me?" That kind of thing.
Blues Man, hands down. It's just, I'm just a singer. You know, you know, it's such a great song from Hank Jr. and it just resonates with me so much. I've been cuffed on dirt roads. I've been busted for no shows, and hey baby, I love you. It wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made it. And it's such a testimony to songwriters and singers. So that I would say between that one and Rodney Crowell's "Till I Gain Control Again," those are probably my all-time favorite songs I wish I'd written.
And in the same vein, I ask pretty much every guest that I have what their Mount Rushmore is of a certain thing. I'm going to ask you what your Mount Rushmore for songwriters is. If you could put four songwriters up on your Mount Rushmore, who would they be? And you only get to pick four.
Billy Joe Shaver, Rodney Crowell, Guy Clark, and Alan Shamlin.
Well, that was a lot quicker than I expected.
Yeah, well,
How many of those?
I've,
I
I've
know
been
you. I know
blessed.
you co-wrote with Alan. Did you have any history with the other three as well?
Guy and I were great drinking buddies, and Billy Joe and I tore up a bar one night. But Rodney, I've only met him a couple times. He put one of my songs, he put my Willie Nelson cut on his quarantine record, and I got to thank him for that recently for that. Um, but Rodney and Shamlin have the new Willie Nelson title track, "The Border." Just an amazing song,
Incredible song.
just
Yes.
incredible song. Uh, but Rodney's such a force to be reckoned with, and "This Ain't Over Yet" spawned me to write a song while driving around Texas one day called "It Took a Lot of Life for Me to Write This Song," and if I'm lucky, I'll be able to put that song on a record someday. It just talks about all the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and your mistakes, your ups and downs, and regret and all that stuff. And it just says, I don't know if the rights outweigh the wrongs, but it sure took a lot of life for me to write this song. And I think that song will hopefully be played at my memorial. It's just one of them songs that just kind of sums my life up. So.
And just in reference to the border as well, I have to throw this out there. I don't know if you knew him or met him or whatever, but we had a great songwriter from East Texas, the Kilgore area, named Will Jennings. I'm sure you know the name. Will is just a
Yeah,
phenomenal talent. Just recently passed away, but he also
just passed
has a
away.
cut on the border called "Many a Long and Lonesome Highway" that he did with Rodney Crowell. Just a great
Yeah,
tune.
he and Marshall Chapman wrote a bunch of stuff with Buffett, and just an amazing songwriter. And then we just lost J.D. Souther too, which is I got to hang with J.D. a lot in Nashville, and huge
Um,
fan of J.D. Souther.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but today I'm going to look to make sure so I don't get this wrong. But I just read this prior to coming on the air with you. Um, Hugh Prestwood passed away today or yesterday.
Well, he was on my mind. I was thinking he's probably because I'd heard he was in bad health, but he was so great. I mean, just an incredible guy, and he was always kind to me, uh, always complimentary of my music. Um, and then Waylon Holyfield, oh my gosh, Waylon took me under his wing, and he and I and Nora Holyfield or Nora Wilson got to write. Waylon wrote "Some Broken Hearts Never Mend." All these huge Don Williams songs he wrote. "Can I Have This Dance for the Rest of Your Life?" And just amazing people I was around, the Red Lanes and the Wayne Carsons and the Hank Cochrans, and we were just walking among giants back then. And Harlan and Troy Seals, Max D. Barnes, and
Do you feel
I
like
had a phone call. Go ahead.
Do you feel like that mentorship might be missing nowadays? Because we talked about it earlier in the show, where you came up with all these great people that were ahead of you that kind of, you know, handed you down these tidbits that you learned and these morsels of information that you essentially created a phenomenal songwriter out of. Do you feel like that mentorship is not there anymore? Maybe that's why some of that feel is missing now.
I think the ones that are succeeding, I think that they do acknowledge those that came before him. But I was at Spirit Music last month with Jeremy Bussey and Alan Shamlin. We were writing, and there were like 5 or 6 writers. They're all high-fiving each other and beating their chest about their latest song and all this stuff. And Alan came in, and I said, "Y'all know Alan Shamlin?" And they said, "Man, how you doing?" I wanted to slap them all on the head.
Yeah.
So this guy has written a library of songs that you can't even fathom.
Yeah.
You grew up on his music. You know, Where the Blacktop Ends, Life's a Dance, Don't Laugh at Me. I Can't Make You Love Me. It's been recorded 500 times. And here you are, you don't even know this man's in the room. You know, shame, shame, shame. I mean, I was really proud of my history of songwriters, and just to get around, you know, the Dickie Lees and the Harlan Howards, and, you know, Red Lane was one of my buddies, and we would write, and Wayne Carson was probably my closest icon. I mean, Wayne was just so incredible to me. So
yeah, and there's a wealth of information there, and those songs that worked then are working now. I mean, you are a testament to that. You are a singular testament to that. I imagine it's happening to other songwriters as well, where what is once old is new again. Just real quick before I get into the what's next for you in the future, you talked about having songs that were 8 or 10 years old that are kind of, you know, being picked up and cut again today. Is there any kind of polish that you have to put on those songs to make them resonate more to a current audience that maybe wasn't there 10 years ago when you wrote them?
you know, there's a few songs that have timestamps on them that don't work anymore. But if I really think the song still got a shot, I'll go in and retrack it and take that timestamp out, you know.
Yeah.
But if I lose you here, I'm down to 5% on my phone. I just realized that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
well,
forgot
that's
to
okay.
charge it up.
I'm pretty much on the last one anyway. What's next for you? What's in the future for you? What's coming up?
Back to Nashville for the last time for the year. I got a bunch of solo shows coming up. Doing some stuff with Michael Martin Murphy, and just doing a lot of solo shows, and winding down for the year, and looking forward to some time on the back porch and reflecting on how the year went. So,
and the website is BernieNelson.com, or is it BernieNelsonMusic.com?
No, BernieNelson.com. The website's horrendous right now, but it's being rebuilt. Okay. And we'll have all the year dates up and stuff, and all the new music, and all the merch will be out there. They can get my book, Honky Tonk Angels, through BernieNelson.com. I stick them in the mail as soon as they hit the PayPal, and it's been one of my greatest things. I love that book. It's been a very special thing for me.
Yeah, I'll definitely be in contact. I definitely want to pick one of those up. I just got Steve Dorff's book. I'm interviewing him in a week. I can't wait for that, man. I don't know if you're familiar with Steve.
He's a great guy, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And Andrew was a great writer, too.
Absolutely, he was. But yeah, thank you so much again, Bernie. Bernie Nelson, not Sanders. Guys, make sure you
or Ledden.
Yeah, or Ledden, because he still has that tooth, and Bernie Ledden does not.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your time today, Bernie. I hope you had a good time.
Thank you, Boston, and I'll talk to you soon. Send me your address. I'll send you the book.